thinking a lot about what I would say today, and if I am honest, I almost didn't show up. In fact, I walked out of the first gathering and wondered if I would be able to share what it means to be a person of color in a dominantly white institution. Now, many of you know me, and you know that I'm usually very vocal about things. You may say that I'm confident or that I speak my mind, and I would tend to agree with you. But my hesitation and frustration about speaking to you today has nothing to do with my lack of confidence. It has everything to do with the topic at hand. Let me be clear. We speak of getting rid of white normativity, but in reality, this very gathering is catering to it. This meeting is white normativity at work. This gathering represents efforts to create spaces where doctoral students of color can thrive. And in order to do that, we must first get everyone to understand ways that racism is at play in the institution. But who is everyone? While the objective is to help students of color, the steps to get there require us to get everyone in line and up to speed. Thus is a meeting for everyone. But when you say something is for everyone, and you fail to articulate how it is specifically for people of color, you automatically cater to the power in the room. Let me rephrase. You automatically cater to the white men in the room. See, as an African-American student here, I don't need a lesson in how to navigate white normativity. I'm forced to navigate it every single day. And quite frankly, I don't want to sit in a room with all of my white professors to try to figure it out. Does this mean that I don't want my professors and my colleagues to thrive in this area? Absolutely not. I want nothing more. But does it mean I should re-traumatize myself in order to do so? For the sake of everyone? Like I said in the beginning, I left the first meeting frustrated. And I thought about backing out of speaking to you today several times. Because if anything, it has only served as a reminder that this space is not for me. See, there's something that happens to an outspoken, confident person of color when they are forced to navigate these white normative spaces. An inner dialogue attempts to dominate their thinking so that they have to find ways to survive. Allow me to give you an example. At times, I wonder if I'm an imposter. Now, many of you may be thinking about the well-worn cloak of imposter syndrome that every student and even some faculty wear as we continue to navigate what it means to be accepted as a PhD student or hired as faculty at any institution. Some of you may nod your heads and resonate with the ways we timidly enter into spaces, wondering, am I really supposed to be here? What if they find out that I'm not the brilliant student or the confident professor or the competent person that they thought of when they accepted or they hired me? What if I'm made? But as we clumsily glow through our time, we begin to gain a little bit of confidence and we eventually find our way. So when I say that I'm an imposter, many will think of these stories, but that is not what I'm talking about. Maybe a better way to say it is that I wonder if I am no one. Armed with a variety of masks at my disposal, I am forced to learn to navigate the world of the institution by applying whatever mask is suitable. Learn the language. Don't be too assertive. Offer good conversation within reason and never draw attention to yourself. Essentially, I can just as easily say that I wonder if I would be everyone. That in order to be seen as friendly, I would have to present myself as relatable and approachable to everyone. That I have to do whatever it takes to make others comfortable. Or maybe all of this is because I am too often the only one, forced to navigate a system as the only woman of color in the room. See, this brings about two dynamics. First is the resistance to fulfilling the role of the generalized representative or expert. No, I do not know what all Black people think on that subject. Or no, I haven't read that obscure book by that one professor you saw at that conference that one time 5 years ago. Or no, I haven't read that one book that every other Black person has supposedly read. And finally, no, I do not have other suggestions for you. You have Google and probably a PhD. Please stop asking. Secondly, it is the courage to speak out regarding things that do affect me as a Black woman. Actually, What you said is culturally insensitive and we need to address it now. Or, that actually doesn't represent my experience. Or your reading list and general approach to this topic ignores the rich contributions of people of color. But regardless of the way this pressure attempts to force me to seek to name my status, whether it's imposter or no one or everyone or the only one, the fact remains that if I gave into this dialogue, I would never fully be myself. This is the work of white normativity. White normativity is the suspension of self in order to navigate a system that was never made for you. I will say that again. White normativity is the suspension of self in order to navigate a system that was never made for you. It is the unspoken rule that you are forced to follow, but can never call foul because it only works when it does not exist. It is the unnamed, the gravity that draws you to itself and judges you based on how far you are from center. It says that whiteness, and almost always maleness, is normative, is the baseline, is general, and everything that is not white is birthed in context. White thought is beyond context because it both supersedes and undergirds these realities. Everything else is a variation of or derivative of it and can thereby be judged by it. In other words, white normativity is the ability to be no one with only one mask. White normativity situates itself in the eye of the storm that it creates. It pays lip service to the so-called honor of people of color without honoring their actual lives or contributions. It is the ability to post things like R.I.P. James Cone on social media and still regulate his work to contextual theology or recommended reading. White normativity is the honoring of a man you have never fully acknowledged. White normativity is hiding behind intellectual freedom to justify the use of the N-word in the classroom while ignoring the effect it has on the Black bodies in that room that are under your intellectual care and influence. White normativity is the ability to situate your institutions on the grounds of being diverse while still needing to have a discussion on what white normativity is in the first place. This system is costly. And I'm not just trying to speak for everyone and say that it's costly for all. I'm saying it's costly for me, for a Black woman. It has cost us Dr. Seacrest. It has cost us Dr. Jacobs. It has cost us Dr. Moore. It has cost us Dr. Gordon. It has cost us Janelle Austin. It has cost us countless others who got tired of fighting an inner dialogue that tried to force them to lose a part of themselves in order to navigate a system that was never made for them. It is a cause for those who got tired of fighting a system that is rooted in the subtlest and the most obvious expressions of white and male dominance, rooted in the soil rich with theology. How much more will it cost? I've already given you my money and my time. Must you demand my soul too? Must you require that I abandon myself in order to survive this system? Now, there may be those of you who are thinking, but doesn't you being here talking to us count for something? We are here. Doesn't that count for something? You get to study an aspect of your culture. Doesn't that count for something? Yes, it counts. But it costs much, much more.